Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, right out of Oklahoma City, hanging out with the Southern Flame, Don McIntyre, joining us from Alabama. And then we got Omar Feliciano from Queens, New York, with the band The Phoenix Within. And you know what? He could possibly be a relative of mine. We don't know. We could be cousins. We have no idea. What's up, dude?
What's up? What's wrong?
How many Puerto Ricans do you know? I know you're Honduras also, right? From would you say Honduras, right? And Puerto Rican. How many people do you know with that ethnicity that are in rock bands, like in general?
Oddly enough, I know one very important one. I know one very important one. For the longest time, the studio I use is Audio Pilot Studio in New Jersey, where I do all my recordings. I mainly work with one producer called Rob Freeman, and the other one was called Dave Dones. Dones. Dave Dones is exactly a Honduran. His mom was from Honduras and his dad was from Puerto Rico. I would have never known from the name. Yeah, but one day he slept over my house. And so like I wanted to eat tortilla with hummus. Don't ask me why. I wanted that. So when we cook tortillas, we don't use a pan or anything. We just throw that shit on the stovetop and just like toast it a little, you know. And so he looked at me cooking the tortilla. And he's like, "Dude, where are you from?" And then I was like, "I'm Honduran." And he's just like, "Oh my God, so am I." Like, after working with him for more than like 5 years, I never knew.
That's good. The first thing, we could have done the whole show because you came on extra early. Like, he was here. I came in the room at 7:30. He was already here. And then Don came on. We could have already had the whole show and done with it, just talking about different foods and things like that, man. So it's always nice to have a fellow a Puerto Rican, I guess, if you will, on the show. Don, I still love you also. So what got you into rock music in the first place, Omar?
For me, it was a lot of things, actually. So like I grew up in a very like spiritual / religious home. So they were kind of like, always trying to filter and control what I listened to. And, so when I started branching out and actually getting my hands on rock and roll or anything rock related, it just felt liberating. In high school, I had a lot of bands that, local bands in the scene. I had a good friend of mine. His name was Gary Solman. He's the one that showed me how to play guitar. So I was very lucky in that way. There was a local band called Out of Luck. They were like a pop, they were a punk band, but then I came in listening to that stuff, like whatever was pop, whatever was on the radio available. I would be listening to it in the nighttime, whatever, like back when you could listen to rock on the radio in the nighttime, 92.3, and all that stuff. So whatever was on the radio, of course, mainstream stuff. And then, when my friend would just introduce me to bands like, Coheed and Cambria, Thrice, Hot Rod Circuit, Breaking Pangea, all these underground, for me, underground stuff. And I just swallowed it all up.
Did you grow up superstitious at all? Like, was your family superstitious?
125%. Yes. Yes. Like, you're having a bad dream. Here's a cup of water. Don't drink it. Put it underneath your bed. It'll trap all the bad stuff. Oh yeah, my mom was super.
Dude, see, Don, here's one thing you may not understand, or you may already know this. I don't know, but growing up in Hispanic households, Latino households, especially with like our parents, my parents are first generation American, very superstitious. Like open an umbrella in the house, you're going to hell, dude. You're going straight to hell if you open an umbrella in the house.
Ass whooping first, and then you go into hell.
Get your ass to hell.
I mean, so many things like turning my shoe, even like if my shoe wasn't like on the soles on the ground, if it slipped over sideways, bad luck.
Problems.
You're going to hell. You're going to hell for that.
And then other weird shit. Like let's say you're in the kitchen, you're washing stuff, and you drop your fork. They're like, oh, somebody's coming. Somebody's coming to the house.
Or your nose itches, or your ears burn,
or your hands
or
itchy, money. Yeah.
Give me the money every time my hand's itching. I'm
I
like,
don't
give me the
know
money.
if that's really. It's not maybe not fair to say that it's only a Hispanic thing. It could be a cultural thing from just different countries in general. Being first generation American, I don't teach those superstitions to my kids, but sometimes I wonder, was there truth to that?
There's always
not one thing. You watch sports? Are you a sports fan? You don't do any
I am.
You don't do any little,
Off over the shoulder. We don't have mirrors facing each other because vortexes.
Oh,
see, you never know what's real, or you never know what's real or what's not real. But okay, so the Phoenix Within did start. You started it. It was kind of to begin. Is it fair to say that it was kind of you started the band? This was your project that you brought to fruition.
Yeah. I found it. I started like the whole conception, everything of it. It started even before that. Before I actually decided to do the Phoenix Within, I spent like 2 years of my life with no music whatsoever. So I did nothing. I sold all my equipment. I had like a Marshall stack, Gibson, guitars, got rid of everything. I said, I'm not going to do music anymore. I quit. And so I signed up for college, went to school. And in 2012, I couldn't stop writing, man. Like my textbook on the outside borders on the white part, I just had lyrics just going around, just going around. And one day when that semester ended, I remember I sat down, I'm like flipping the page through the textbook, and I'm like, I wrote a lot of shit in here. So I went downstairs across the street. There's a 99-cent store in every block in Queens. So I bought like a marble composition notebook, and I started transcribing everything that I wrote over. The book filled up. My hand was swollen. I went back outside, got another marble notebook, and I'm just rewriting and then erasing because I wanted to sell the textbook back. So I'm like rewriting, erasing, rewriting, erasing, rewriting, erasing. Before I know it, I had 3 marble notebooks just full of lyrics. Wow. I didn't have any guitars, but I had this neighbor who was also the landlord. He owned the building. He lived downstairs, and the 2 things he loved the most were to smoke pot every fucking day and play his guitars. Like he had like a dozen guitars in his house. So I was just like, dude, can I borrow 1 guitar? And he's like,
hell yeah.
Why? I play a little. He's like, you've lived here for more than 2 years. I've never seen you play the guitar. And I was like, well, can I borrow one? He's like, show me you can play. So I grab out the guitar. I start fiddling with it. And he's like, motherfucker. He's like, I've been wanting to learn how to play guitar for years. Apparently, he just collected them. He didn't actually play them. And I was like, no way. So in exchange for me giving him a few lessons and jamming with him once in a while, he let me borrow his acoustic, and I started writing a whole bunch of songs. And before I knew it, I had a lot of songs. And so I went out to the studio, and I recorded an album. The name The Phoenix Within came through because of a roommate of mine. His name was Robert Fernandez. We also went to school together. One day we were talking about horoscopes, and he's Latino, so he's getting into the whole horoscope thing, and he's explaining to me how Scorpios have 2 layers, like they go through tiers, they evolve, and so their final transformation is not that Scorpio thing; it's actually a phoenix. So I was like, "Oh, you have a phoenix within," and I was like, "Click, click, click, click." I started writing it down, and I was like, "That's gonna be the band name." and here I am.
You know, I can relate to your neighbor or landlord / weed smoker because
I love you, Hector.
because I'm a drummer, right? I'm a drummer, percussionist, and growing up, people would band practice was always at my house. Remember, I told you earlier, we talked before the show. My mom's deaf, can't hear, so as a drummer, it was easy for me to have band practice at my house as long as my dad was at work. You know, bothered the neighbors, but didn't bother my mom. So who gives a shit, right? My mom didn't care what we did. Like, go ahead, have fun, and have your band practice. And the guitar players and the bass players always leave their instruments at my house. And I always told myself, I'm going to learn how to play that one day because it was always at my house. Never have I learned how to play the guitar. I mean, I could play like a little ditty here and there, but nothing worth sharing anyways.
So when you write, do you at night, are you one of those people like I am that you wake up in the middle of the night and just have to start writing stuff down, or
Yes.
before you go to sleep, these big ideas and you can't stop thinking about it, you have to write it down?
For me, it's even,
Do you do that?
it's even an extra layer worse. Like, so like basically, like I'll have like crazy dreams. A lot of, especially like a lot of the first album. I guess is like I was trying to not do music, and a lot of the songs that were coming out were about continuing that process, But
Mhm.
I have dreams. I have like notebooks like right underneath my bed. I just take it out, write down whatever it is, and then throw it back down, and then go back to sleep.
That's great.
I wish I did
You
that.
have to. You got to get it out.
I always tell myself I'll remember it in the morning, and I don't remember it.
Never.
I don't remember it
You
in the
never
morning.
do.
The thoughts won't leave me. I have to write it down or get my brain to shut up.
Yeah.
I do want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. This is coming out Friday, December 31st.
Happy New Year's!
New Year's Eve at 8 Central Standard Time is when this is going to air. This is the last official interview for the year 2021, and we are taking a break for 2 weeks in 2022 and starting back in the middle of January. So I do want to go over with you and the Phoenix Within, Omar, some of the tours you've done, shows, and some other things. But before we do that, I do want to mention one thing before I forget it. There is a Puerto Rican dish called pasteles that a lot of people have never had. They are not tamales and they are not cakes from Mexico. They are a plantain, usually with pork. But Omar, now you are a vegetarian.
Yep.
What started? Before we play your music video, what started you being vegetarian? Especially being Puerto Rican, like lots of meat, stuff like that. Like, my dad doesn't eat pork, and which is odd for Puerto Rican. So what made you decide to become a vegetarian?
That's very odd. I feel like that's more odd than me. Because you gotta have lechon, you gotta have
just don't eat pork, then just eat no meat. If you're Puerto Rican, right?
Pick one. Yeah, no, for me it was honestly, dude, it was science and health related. My mom just growing up, she had a lot of cardiac issues. It was all totally 100% due to the diet and lifestyle. She was under a lot of stress raising 3 kids, and my hard-headedness, but it caught up with her. And so like my mom's, like I said, we're first generation. So I was a translator. So like going to the doctor's offices and all these appointments and stuff. And the doctor's just trying to explain, hey, listen, just make these little changes here and there in the food and your diet. And it'll help you. And my mom would just be like, stress? And like, no, it's more than stress. You got to change your lifestyle, And so I took it to heart. Like I really listened to the advice and I would ask the questions and stuff, And when I got older, I was a vegetarian since I was 18 years old. So I was a vegetarian for 11 years. And then for 3 years, I went back to eating meat while living in that building because Hector kept smoking weed all the time. And my other neighbor, and my other fucking neighbor, Fred, every Sunday he would order fucking wings, like every fucking Sunday.
I love wings.
Wings broke me, bro. Wings. After 11 years of being a vegetarian, I just woke up one day. I was just like, I didn't even order my wings from like anywhere special. I called Domino's fucking pizzeria and I was like,
the worst wings.
Dude, I was just like, yo, send me all the wings you got. I'm sorry, you might have heard a lot of wings. Send me all the fucking wings you got. So for 3 years after that, I just ate meat and then I stopped in like 2015, and I came back.
You're back. So your mom did not claim her health issues were on dropping the fork when she was 8 years old, and she knew I should have dropped that fork. They told me. They told me it was not going to be good for me if I did that. No,
It's a hot mess.
Let's play your song "Lacking." You do have a lyric video for a different song, which we're going to talk about right after this as well. But is this your latest full music video, "Lacking"?
Lacking was yes, and the one before that was Remake, and the one before that was Pessimist. But
Okay, when you
Lacking was
watch this, Don, and anyone else that's going to watch this, I want you to think of the movie Dodgeball when you watch this video. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Lack of acceptance and no investments has left me here to clean my wounds. Lack of attention and misunderstanding has left me here to endure alone. You think I lost it, but I'm underrated. So this is where I stand my ground. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. Lack of support from fake friends and labels has left me here to doubt myself. Lack of a vision for my creation has bled the underdog in me. So you think I lost it, but I'm more determined to prove myself and push ahead. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. I'm willing to march right through this hell. No one's gonna take this from me. No one's gonna take this from me.
There we go, man. Yeah, you know what does your family think about you pursuing this rock music career?
They're 100% supportive, but not when I fucking started.
Yeah, right. Right.
When I first started playing guitar, they were like, "Take that shit outside, my man. Like, go outside. Take that shit elsewhere." But now they're all about it. Oh, mijo, I love it.
And you were
Yeah,
absolutely right about the dodgeball. That was the first thing that
I mean,
came
there's
to
like
my
even a
mind.
Ben Stiller character
Character.
in there, right? With the
Yeah.
mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that you playing the mustache guy, or was that someone else?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay, was that like a whole just some other people? That wasn't the band then,
Yeah,
right? The
no,
competitor. Okay,
there
other
was
people.
yeah, it was other people. So we filmed that with the help of Michael Monto, who's a guy based out of New Jersey. He runs his own little videography company, and they're called Burning Wick Studios. So the theme of the song was the underdog. So what better movie than Dodgeball for the underdog story?
Yeah, dude.
That was epic.
I got a question. You're right, and you're sitting there. Of course, I got a question. We're at some fucking podcast. So I see you writing.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. It looks like you're writing notes on something, and I don't think anyone's ever actually been on and with a pen and paper writing anything down. What are you taking notes on?
Oh, I'm writing down Don, Sebastian, Alabama, iron, photography.
That's just some random things. Hey, if you want to ask us any questions, by all means, you're more than welcome to. I do want
Open book, yeah.
I do want to ask you. We're going to go into Omar's questions towards the end here. Lyric video. You have a lyric video for, and this just came out like a month ago, maybe, or not that long ago,
just
right?
about, yeah.
And what's that song? What's that song called? And what's that one about?
That song is called No Big Deal. And it's basically just somebody trying to brush off the fact that, maybe they can't pay the rent, maybe the credit is getting spoiled, everything you could think of that can go bad on a bad day, and somehow just trucking through it, just working their way through it.
Sums up 2020.
Facts.
2020 was fucked up, man. That was the most fucked up year, especially for musicians, But coming into 2022, I feel like things definitely have changed and bands are back on tour, which leads me to asking you about past tours and potential new tours that you may know about.
So this year we were lucky enough, as that little window opened up and there was a few festivals, flaked around and stuff. We did. I was talking to Don about this earlier. So we did get to play one good show in New York City. That was a lot of fun at Arlene's Grocery, and that was followed up by two shows in two festivals. So the first one was in Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and
Nice.
Yeah,
You guys played Blue Ridge, huh?
in Danville, Virginia. Yeah, which it's dope. That's all. It was
Yeah,
phenomenal.
a lot of bands
It
have
was
been on here played
humbling.
Blue Ridge, man.
So
The
many
pictures
big.
look awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was really wild. And then after that, we got to play Incarceration in Mansfield, Ohio. And that was just another freaking blast. It was just amazing. Moving forward to this year, we have one show coming up in January, January the 30th at Arlene's Grocery with a band. They're from Pennsylvania called The Color Fred.
Is that a grocery store?
It used to be. It used to be a
Arlene's
bodega.
Grocery, right?
Yeah.
Go buy some bread and butter and milk and watch a band play. Why
No,
not?
dude, it was a bodega. So you bought the 25-cent juices, bro. Like, but yeah. So we're playing that show with the band The Color Fred. They're based out of Pennsylvania. And the front man of that band. He used to be in a band called Terrible Things, which was, it used to have the drummer of Coheed and Cambria in it.
Nice.
And the guitarist from Hot Rod Circuit, and he also was an ex-guitarist for Taking Back Sunday. So that's gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Great.
That sounds like a really good project.
Yeah. Well, so we are gonna have some festivals that we are playing throughout the year. One of them, I'm not allowed to say what the name of the festivals are. It's part of the clause,
Yeah.
But I will tell you, we will be, in Texas. We will be in Florida.
Well, hey, when you're in Texas, let me know. I don't live far from Texas. It depends on where you're at in Texas. I live like 2.5 hours from like Dallas area.
Okay.
So not too far. Yeah, it's actually if you guys probably won't come to Oklahoma. A lot of people don't come to Oklahoma, just because it's not like a super huge venue out here. Although Oklahoma City is pretty big. I mean,
yeah.
It's not tiny. A lot of bands come here.
I just thought they weren't coming because of tornadoes or something. I just don't want to.
Don't come in like April or May. All right, that's all I gotta say.
I don't want to get smacked by like a cow. Like
I got a storm shelter, bro. Come stay at my house. The cows will fly over you instead of hit you. No,
storm shelter show.
In all the years I've lived in Oklahoma, 15 going on 16 years, I've never actually seen. Maybe I've seen like a small one, but I've never actually seen like a tornado that scared the shit out of me. The siren in Oklahoma, we have sirens that go off when there's a tornado that could touch the ground, and that means get in the shelter or take cover. Sirens. I mean, I hear sirens every year, but I've never actually been that close to a tornado where I felt my life was in danger. I mean, if I did, it was just me, like, fucking freaking out over probably nothing big, but they do happen, and they happen often enough, man. Are you guys signed to a record label?
No, the Phoenix Within is an independent band. Back in, oh man, I don't want to, 2014, 2015, maybe around there, we were working with an indie label. The first one was Crybaby Records. They were based out of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then after that, when I put out the Whispers album, which is a fully acoustic album, we were on another label, No Hope Records. That was also based out of, they were based out of Philadelphia, still Pennsylvania. But as of now, we are.
What's your plan moving forward with the band? You guys are still coming out with obviously brand new content all the time. Do you plan on doing like a maybe not only just a nationwide tour, but going to Europe? And have you been to Europe to tour before?
I've had the chance to play in Amsterdam.
Nice.
I did play while I was out there. 2 local shows, nothing, whatever. But it was
so cool.
Awesome. To me, it was amazing. We made a whole trip out of it with some friends, and we went out there and we just partied hard.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Hell, if you're gonna be in Amsterdam and you're playing shows, you might as well fucking party.
There's only one thing to do there.
Why did you not take your previous landlord?
Oh my God, he would have been so happy.
We need Hector on this show, smoking weed, and tell us his side of the story. He's gonna be like,
shout out to Hector.
Man, he begged me to play my guitar. I told him no, and he just wouldn't give up on it. So
he was actually so nice. Man. He was like, absolutely sure, man. Like he was the coolest. He was the coolest guy. He was very supportive too. Even like once I started actually like brushing, like the Phoenix Within. When I started, it was like I'd been in so many bands, and I was always just a guitarist. You come in, you record, you play a few shows, and then the band breaks up. And when I decided that I was going to start this band, like after quitting music, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of just it going nowhere. I was kind of disillusioned with it. And then when I started this project, I just kind of had to look at it a different perspective. It's like you have to think about it as a business. It's a business.
Yeah, you do.
The music industry is a business. And that completely changed everything for me. Thinking about it that way just kind of like gave it perspective, and it just made even the smallest goals reachable, and that's how you start, with the smallest goals. Never in my life did I think I was going to play on the same stage where Motionless in White played or Treyu played, like never, and then there I was, like this year that got to happen, I became a member of the Recording Academy. My goal is to continue writing and maybe one day win a Grammy for a song. I don't know, like my goal, I'd love to tour with bands like Coheed and Cambria or Bayside, Thrice,
I like the way you say Coheed and Cambria. Coheed and Cambria.
Coheed and Cambria. Yeah.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
He's a Puerto Rican. He's a Boricua.
It's the Puerto Rican Queens. I don't hear much of a New York accent. And if maybe Don does, my dad being from New York City, a lot of people say he has an accent. I don't hear it, because I was raised around him, and I don't hear a lot of New York accents. Now, the New Jersey accent, I do hear a little bit more. There is subtle differences in the East Coast. Man, you know what? I don't know that I went to Queens when I went to New York. I know we went through Harlem. Pretty sure, anyways. I remember I was staring at someone because, like, when I was like a kid, I was like probably. I'll tell you, the Twin Towers were still there. Okay, so. I think I was in junior high, maybe going on to high school. We took a picture in front of the Twin Towers. I think we were on a ferry going toward the Statue of Liberty or something like that.
For
It was a long
fuck's
time
sakes, make me feel old.
So, but when I went there, I remember I was on the subway and I was staring at these guys that had a basketball, and they were like kind of staring at me back, and my mom's like, "Quit staring at them," and I'm like, "Why?" She's like, because it's not good to stare at people, son. That's why. And I'm thinking, like, what are they gonna do? Beat me up? I'm like fucking 13, 14 years old or something like that. You know, I think I was like 14. But it is, you know, New York can be kind of a scary place, man. How was it for you growing up? And I don't know if I went to Queens or not. I know Brooklyn, probably Bronx, Queens, maybe. I know we went to Staten Island. Wait, Staten Island where's all like the Ferris wheels and like what's that called?
That's Coney Island?
Coney Island, not Staten Island. I went to Coney Island. One of them islands.
Still
One of them islands.
Brooklyn.
I think a seagull shit on my brother too.
I believe it. I don't know why, but I believe it.
Pigeons or seagulls, they're gonna get you.
And on New Year's Eve, anyone who's not Puerto Rican drinking coquito, it's definitely a drink that it's like a coconut rum. I think my milk. My dad mixes, I think, with eggs in it.
Condensed milk. Yeah. No, we don't get egg shit. Get out of here. No. It's not eggnog. It's not eggnog.
It's not. You're right. People say it's Puerto Rican eggnog. There's like a thing. It's not eggnog, man.
It's fucking eggnog. Stop saying
eggnog.
this. Stop saying this. And Stop and Shop. Stop playing that fucking commercial whenever I go in there.
Is there a lot of Puerto Rican food in New York?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Going back to that you could buy because like in Oklahoma you got to go like the Mexican store and kind of just they sell stuff.
Yeah, there's neighborhoods. Yeah, like everywhere is like that, right? Like you have the hot zones or the areas where you definitely go to get that type of food, right? Like
was that a horn honking in the background of your window?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I was gonna say. I was like,
New York.
You have like tornado alarms and stuff, and you were saying how you don't. You know, you gotta condition yourself to not panic when you hear it. You know, like we have ambulances, police cars, and everything. I'm just like, well, I'm not the one getting stabbed tonight, so it's okay.
That's awesome, man. I think your band's really cool. I enjoyed having the conversation with you. Did you have anything for us as you're writing shit down? I mean, if you have anything, say it now or forever hold your peace.
Right now,
So, how long has this show been going on?
You know what? I started in August of 2020, so like a year and 4 months.
Oh wow!
So not super long. And look, you're episode 228.
228. That's a lot.
That's
dude.
a lot of shit I've done in
That's
a
a lot
year,
of fucking shows.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking to people. Damn it. No, I'm just kidding. What we're gonna do is starting in 2022. Though we're only going on 1 day a week. In fact, Dawn may have her own.
Hold on, wait a minute.
What?
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Dawn may have her own sideshow that's still in the works coming up because we're missing a lot of European bands and some other bands that we really want to get on that we're not really able to with just time and my time is with my family and stuff. So I'm going down to just 1 day a week, and I'm also going to change the show for anyone listening. I know we're over our 30-minute mark, but I do want to say this. In 2022, we are not changing. We're going to do a lot of music based, but I also want to talk to actors and entrepreneurs and comedians and just different people. I think for me to grow individually as for myself, I think it's important to reach those limits. If I ever want to make this a living and make money doing this as a career, I think it's important for me to expand and test my abilities to talk to people, you know?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I find different things interesting. Dawn, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask Omar, Mr. Feliciano, before we end the show?
Roll them R's for me again.
I can't roll R's.
You can't roll R's?
Yeah, you totally did when I first started talking to you earlier. I did not picture you with a Queens accent. I pictured you with a Puerto Rican accent. And I'm like, the ethnicity. That's what got me, not Queens.
Hey, real quick, Omar, you said you've been to Puerto Rico twice, right?
No, I've only been there.
Oh, you went once. And were you young?
No, actually, it was really recently. Like really recent. Like So like my parents separated very young, so like this whole show I've been the Puerto Rican, but I've actually always identified as Hondureño, oddly enough, because I didn't have my dad growing up. Later on in life, I have a stepdad. He's Cuban. I should really, that's very nice too, because it's kind of like
very similar, Cuban
the
and Puerto
rum
Rican
and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I've always done that, but yeah, no. Yep.
Well, on my show, you're the Puerto Rican, damn it.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Was it Honduran?
I only went to Puerto Rico recently.
Yeah, he's a Honduran.
Yeah, I'm a
Honduran.
Honduran, half Honduras, half Honduras.
It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for your time, for being on the show.
Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for telling me about your show.
Stay there till after the outro credit plays. I do want to please do that. I do want to thank everyone that listens to The Loud Spot. Please check us out, www.theloudspot.net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, patreon.com/The Loud Spot. If you're in the season or in the mood for giving $3 a month to us, we would really appreciate that. We're on all podcasting platforms, and that's all we got. So peace out. Rock on.
Much love.
There you go.
This is The Loud Spot outro by nothing short of tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this The Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does nothing short of tragic have us back again? Yes. Does everything that's good really have to end? Yes. Our pimp host has a pimp show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.
Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to click the like and share button.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube and subscribe.
If you want to listen to our audio and pick up some cool merch, go to www.theloudspot.net. Peace out, rock on, much love.